Hello, guitar players. Today, we're going to talk a little bit about tuning. Not much, but a little bit. We're going to talk about notes and chords and how those notes and chords work together to tell you something about the other. One will explain the other, we hope. Anyway, we'll see what happens. First of all, I want to introduce you to the fact that there are what we call tuning frets on the guitar. You might know about this, you might not. If you have an electronic tuner or you tune to one of the programs on the internet or whatever, you have a pitch pipe or a tuning fork or something like that that you tune to, you don't really need to know this tuning method. But there are tuning frets on the guitar, and they work like this. This note is an E. This open sixth string is an E. Well, that's fine. You've got to get this tuned to something. So you're going to have to find some kind of tone generated so that you can match this correctly. And again, an electronic tuner is the best way to go. The kind that clip on to the top of the guitar neck or the headstock here are the easiest. They're very reliable, and so you can tune your entire guitar to that. Well, all right, but on this string, once you get this tuned, you go up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 frets, and this note on the 5th fret of the 6th string will match the 5th string with no fingers. Okay? Or they should match. If they don't, this is the right one, and that's the one that's got to be adjusted. Then you go up 5 frets on the 5th string that you just tuned, and it will tune the next string, the 4th string. You go up 5 frets on the 4th string, and it will match the open 3rd string. Now you've got to dip down to the 4th fret of the 3rd string to match the open B, the 2nd string. You go back up to the 5th fret to match the 1st string. Now that's an E and that's an E, and they should sound like they're singing together so that there's not a lot of weird vibrations in there. So it's 5th fret, 5th fret, 5th fret, 4th fret, 5th fret. There's a lot of reasons for that, but we won't get into that right now. Anyway, just understand that it's a 5-number system, and I refer to it as the zip code of the guitar. It's 55545. Now, there isn't actually a zip code like that. There's no town that exists that has 55545. If it did, if there was a town like that, it'd be in Minnesota someplace, but there isn't. That number got skipped over, so we own it. That's our zip code. That's 55545. Okay. Now, what that means is, though, this note matches in pitch that other note. Okay. So if this is an A and it matches that A, that means you've got an A note right here. That's important. Okay. And that makes this note matching up with the D string a D. This note here on the 4th string matching up with the 3rd, that makes this note a G. This note matching up with the B string becomes a B right here. Okay? And then you have the E. And in a previous lesson, we talked all about E's, and we mentioned the fact that this is the tuning fret for the E string, and it is an E. All right? Now, I'm going to take a side trip over here to chords. And what we're going to do is start with 3 chords. Well, no, 4 chords. Well, bonus, okay? 4 chords. All right, so the reason I'm starting with these is that they all have to do with what's on the 3rd fret. But we're going to refer to what happens on the 5th fret and the tuning frets as we go along. Okay, so we take a G chord. And you have this finger. I should say this fret because some of you play the G like this, but it's the note on the bottom, all right, on the 6th string. Now, on the bottom of a G chord, at this point, you find a G. What an odd thing. You found a G on the bottom of a G chord. This, being the lowest note, is the bass note of the G chord. So if you wanted to do that, you could play bass note strum and have that, get that effect. Okay, so fine. So this is a G, but if you move this up to a C chord, the note on the very same fret happens to be, oh, look, the C. Okay? And if you move this up to an F chord, and I'm using the shorty F chord, not the full bar chord, all right, this is just the three-fingered 3rd fret, 2nd fret, partial bar of the 1st fret of the top 2 strings, this F, your 3rd finger is sitting on an F. This 3rd fret is an F. So it's chord note G, chord note C, chord note F. Now we're going to take it to the D chord, and look at this. You have a D sitting on the same fret under the same finger. That's another reason why I prefer this G, in case you were interested, because it matches up with the 3rd finger on the chord note. That's a G, that's a C, that's an F, and that's a D. Once you know that, you have pretty well figured out everything on the guitar. You might not realize it, but you just did. Because if we take this G note and we say, oh, no, wait a minute, this note right here matched up with the A string. So there's the G and there's the A. There's the G on the 3rd and there's the A, sounding just like if you played it this way and then the open string. See what I mean? It's the same thing. So now all of a sudden you have this G to A. Pairing, it's a relationship of those 2 notes, G to A, 2 frets. Now here's the magic of the whole thing. If you know where any other G is, then A is 2 frets above it. Well, you have a G string. So you go to that G string and you say, okay, that's the open, and you go up 1, 2 frets, and son of a gun, there's an A note. 2 frets, 2 frets. Now in this G chord, because this E and this E are the same, then this G and this G they're the same letter name. They have to be, because they're each 3 frets up from the E. Another clue as to how this all works. So you have an E and a G. Well, if this is G, then that's an A. So all of a sudden you have this. I missed that. But this tuning fret on the 4th string, 5th fret, 4th string, matches the 3rd string G, which means if you move from the 5th fret to the 7th fret, all of a sudden you know that that's an A because it's 2 frets. Okay? We move on to the C chord. And you now know that this is a C because, well, it's on the 3rd fret of that chord. Okay? G, C. All right. Now C is 3 frets above the A string. It's on the A string and it's 3 frets up from the open string. That means every time you have an A, you have a C 3 frets above it. Well, we just plotted an A right here as the tuning fret, and if you go up 1, 2, 3, you end up with a C. Just like A, C, same exact sound. We also just plotted the G, A, right here, G open to A, 2 frets up. And now we're going to take this note up to a C. Once you know that, you say, oh, that's right past the tuning fret, C and B. The B tuning fret. And this is 1 fret higher. So the C now is 1 fret higher than the B. And sure enough, there's an open B, and 1 fret higher is a C, and oh, son of a gun, isn't that just at the top of your C chord? Beginning to see how this works? All we started with was basically 1 note, the tuning frets and this G chord. And from there, we have stretched all this out to the point where if you really stop and think about it, you know where every note is on the guitar by knowing the barest minimum of where certain notes are. Let's go to the F chord. There's the F. It is 3 frets above the D, the open D string, okay? So when you have a D, which you happen to know there is one here, you can go up to that F. Hear the similarity? Okay, now this F, you ready? This F is 1 fret higher than the tuning fret E for the E string. Didn't see that one coming, did you? Okay, so you've got this F being 1 fret higher than the E. Well, down here you got an open E, so 1 fret higher is an F. And the G is here, and the A is here, and all of a sudden you can play something that sounds like a scale. And once you have scales, regardless of how you get to them, you can have melody. Good trick. Well, let's go on to this D chord. Okay, same fret, 3rd fret, designating the D in a D chord. So the G, 3rd fret, G, C, 3rd fret, C, F, 3rd fret, F, D, 3rd fret, D. Those are your key chords because 3rd fret, 3rd fret, 3rd fret, and 3rd fret. Okay? Most of the other basic chords don't have any notes on the 3rd fret. E, E minor, A minor. The D minor does, and it has the same exact D. So that doesn't even change. So that's it. That's what you need to know. The G, the C, the F, and the D, and you skip over the string to do that. 6th string, 5th string, 4th string for the F, and 2nd string for the D. But this D is 2 frets below the E tuning fret. So now you know that everywhere you have a D, you have an E 2 frets above it. So here's a D, open string 4th, go up 2 frets, and there's an E. But there's a tuning fret for the D string. And so if you go up 2 more frets, you get exactly the same sound, but now you're in the upper regions of the guitar. See, all of a sudden it opens up the entire neck. Now, in a previous lesson, we talked about, there's one on just the E note. So if you're going back to look up some of the other lessons, this is go to the one that's called the E note. All right, and we plotted an E note here at the 12th fret. All right, now we just saw that down here E was 2 frets above a D. Okay, so up here, guess what? If that's an E, then 2 frets down is a D. That's right. Okay, so you're starting to catch on. And this D down here ends up being 2 frets higher than the C, and so this E is down 2 frets to the D, down 2 more frets to the C, and if you recall, C to B was 1 fret, so there's a B. The A was on the 5th fret because it's 2 frets above a G. F on the 1st fret, boom, E. I just played it's sort of a scale. It's not a legitimate major scale in the right order, but it's a scale. It's a series of notes that you can then start to use for something. And what it does, it opens up a whole new area of different added notes or melody notes that you can incorporate inside the chords. You don't have to get stuck on just what's there. This is an interesting pattern, but if you start to plug in other notes and say, oh, okay, this chord, C chord, has an E on the 1st string, and now you know that there's a C on the 2nd string, but in between C and E is what letter name? Say D. D. That's good, that's right. Okay, so all of a sudden you have the C chord. And you see I'm plugging that in with my pinky, but that's the same D as in your D chord. Beginning to see how it works? Okay, that's just a basic kind of a rundown of what's here and how to find it. And it all starts with that third fret note in the G chord, the C chord, the F chord, and the D chord. If you have any questions about this, let me know. If you have any comments, write to me. If you have suggestions for other lessons that you'd like to see, let me know. Okay, if you write to me or contact me in any way, be it text, email, whatever, private message on Facebook. You can become friends on Facebook too. Anything, any way that you contact me, I will respond. Okay, so keep that in mind. And so, beyond that, just explore your guitar. Know what's there, and the possibilities just start to open up. It's magic. It really is. It's magic. So go have fun with it, and keep playing. Bye.